It is so good to have you in our studios.
Thank you, Jonathan.
And last time we had such a good conversation, and we did say we want to get you back in studio. This time it's because of some good news that you've got for us. I'm so excited to read that a new school is on the cards for Ocean View. Johann, tell us more about this, please.
Well, 8 years ago, I used to work with gangs and drug addicts in Ocean View. I started out doing that. And wherever I went, I would see small kids running around, and it got dangerous for them. So we decided to build a sort of a place of safety, was the initial plan. And we would feed them, and then we decided, well, let's educate them as well. So we did. And so for 8 years, we've run a preschool, a grade R school.
Brilliant.
In containers in Ocean View. But we can only take about 100 at a time. Sure. And that can't reach everybody. So last year I was pondering this, and I felt God say, no, then expand. And so we'd like to really multiply it 3-4 times, which will mean buying a bigger plots and building and hopefully taking all the kids.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
And the Department of Basic Education, are they coming maybe alongside? Because if you can get a piece of land courtesy of the Western Cape Education Department or the Western Cape government, that'll surely be a good step in the right direction. Then, of course, people coming alongside and saying, you know what, Ocean View is a part of Cape Town. Yeah. Let's make this work.
Now, look, the challenge is you've got to find land big enough.
Okay.
And at the moment, the only land I can find is private land. So it'll have to be, it's a business zone, so I'll have to buy it. Education, I will start a Christian private school, but because of the nature of the school, which will be reaching out to the underprivileged, Wested will be assisting in some way.
Okay,
but it will be independent school basically.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Sure. And let's just talk a little bit about the motivation behind doing this. Because some people might listen or watch this and say, oh, well, it's a business model and it's quite an effective one and whatever else like that. But let's face it, Ocean View is one of the poorest communities in our city.
It's also very violent. And last week we had quite a few murders, you might have heard.
Yeah.
So what's happened is we have a very traumatized youth. Young children, and we've had 900 kids come through our school, and most of them are traumatized. And when you're young and you're traumatized, you cannot function academically. It's impossible. You struggle, you lose your concentration. But there's various reasons for starting the school. The first one really is to show the world God is real.
Yes,
without a doubt. That's the whole purpose of this, which is why the care center, for 8 years. We've run that. We've had 900 kids. We've had no money, no budget. God just provides. And
wow.
But the second reason is to address this this challenge. I mean, one of the challenges we have is so many children start grade 1 and they drop out in primary school because numeracy, literacy, very, very weak. We want to address that right young, 4 or 5 years old.
Brilliant.
So with occupational therapists and psychologists and speech therapists, and to address all of those issues. So we currently use all the specialists, but they're all part-time, they're volunteers. And really I want, the way I see it, I want a whole division in the school dedicated permanently to that. Not just for our kids, but for anybody in the area. I know I had to walk a road with my sons with OT. It's a very expensive exercise.
It is.
I mean, my wife's an OT. We can't use it, so we have to find others. And you pay. And if you're living off a child grant, you have no access to
that kind of
anything.
Yeah.
So it's really, and thirdly, last year when I was on your show, we were lamenting how the education department has become a little, I don't want to say anti-Christian, but I want to say that Christian values have been kicked out of the schools.
Yeah.
And so the idea is to start a school in the far south that has got very strong Christian values, and that is open to everybody. It doesn't matter who you are; you always are welcome. But we keep those values, and so that would be the main reasons. And then obviously the underlying thing is to address the poverty issue.
Yeah.
If we're going to pull people out of poverty, a good start is a good education.
That's it.
Yeah.
It's a vital thing.
Yeah.
And you can't let me just reiterate what you said earlier. You can't get a good education if you're dealing with trauma, if you are hungry.
Yes.
It's like you can't teach anybody anything if their tummy is hungry.
Yeah.
And even worse, if they've been through terrible trauma.
Yeah.
So well done.
Yeah.
Lastly, how
Yeah.
can people support and help you?
Well, look, I mean, it's an enormous task. It's a
It is.
massive, we have to start from scratch. I'm not going to run this under Soteria Ministries. I'm going to start a whole new organization and trust and everything. And I think the nature of this, and I'm hoping to still keep the school, well, how do you say, a fee-free school.
Okay, so that parents
Because
don't have
I'm
to
always
pay.
aiming
Yeah.
at the poorest of the poor.
Yeah.
To run an independent school like that is impossible. They tell me nothing is impossible for God.
Amen.
So I think that all we require right now is a lot of prayer, and that will be good. And
Okay.
if anybody feels really moved or called by God to I need to find staff, a principal, and
Yeah.
teachers and counselors, etc. If people feel called and led to that, then they can contact me.
That's
and
it.
we see where this goes.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
How can they contact you? What's the
My
best way?
email is best,
Yes.
which is johann@soteriaministries.org.za.
Johann
Yeah.
with 2 N's
Two.
at Soteria. Spell Soteria for
SOTERIAMINISTRIES.org.za.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Soteria, SOTERIA,
TERIA.
Soteria Ministries
Yeah.
.org.
.za.
.za.
Yeah.
Okay, so Johann with 2 N's at soteriaministries.org.za. And if you need us to send you that email address, we'll gladly do so.
Thank you.
But yeah, thank you, Johann. And I just think that there might be some retired people that, for whatever reason, maybe they got to retire early, or they retired, they've still got energy and strength, and they're saying, you know what, I want to make a difference.
Yeah.
And think about it, ladies and gentlemen, you'll be impacting the next generation and for generations to come because of investing in these little children's lives. So please, can we ask you to seriously consider this? It is such an opportunity, and really, really hope that you will step up to that. Johann, thank you so much.
Thank you, Jonathan.
If you want to find out more, you can grab a copy of the Echo on page 6. They've got a little bit more information about the new school that's on the cards for Ocean View. But Johann, it's amazing, and I just think it's going to be incredible.
Thank you.
Great pleasure. Okay, so Johann,